What up, BMT fam, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Men's Theory. You already know, we always have a good episode for you guys. And on this episode, we're going to talk about alternative lifestyles. Now, you may ask, what is that? Well, we're about to break it down for you. Plus, we got a special guest. So you guys enjoy the show because you know we're about to get into it.
Hey, buddy, got Puma on the mic.
Tony T right next to him.
And I'm Jupiter.
And Charles the Future.
In the future, Charles, not them. They no longer matter.
And we got Bucky's on the ones and twos.
Like always.
Holding it down.
Yep.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Breaking
Men's Theory.
Breaking Men's Theory. First of all, we have a special guest, Jupiter.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Thank
you.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot of questions for you. So
Oh, boy.
they're going to come fast and hard.
That's okay. Keep them coming.
But first, we had a little special gift from Claudia.
Yeah.
From your better half.
My amazing wife brought us this cake to celebrate,
celebrate
our 2.5 years, almost 3.
Yeah, well,
There he
has it been that long?
Yeah, it's almost 3 years.
Okay, well, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I don't keep track. But it's a beautiful cake. Look, guys, check this out. Check this piece
It's
out.
a nice cake.
She already wants to put our face in this cake.
I do.
But we're gonna save the cake for after
Yeah.
the show. But we wanted to share with you guys because it's freaking amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Do you want?
Thank you, baby.
Yeah. So Ken, you
Man,
want to?
I'll be back.
Go. Take care of that.
Please don't drop it.
I'm gonna drop it right now.
Yeah. Wait. There's the cover. Wait. Get the cover first. You got the cover.
Angle.
Look at that.
No cover. Okay, fine.
All right. Show is over. Let's go.
So okay. So anyways, great show.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by. I mean, it's been a long journey.
It has.
We didn't even realize it's been that long.
We started with audio to a GoPro, and then
That's
GoPro
true.
to the
First of all, it was just audio.
yeah.
The first few months, we weren't even. We were like nervous. We didn't know what to do. It was in our minds, but it wasn't like an actual show at all yet, right?
Yeah.
And then we picked up this guy.
Me?
Yes.
From the streets.
Yeah.
From the streets.
We found him on the curb somewhere. And the production value just went through the roof.
It did.
Yeah.
Big change.
Yeah, but then he's still like, oh God, I have to work with you
Oh, I
idiots.
know.
Emotional, damn it!
I know.
You know what?
By the way,
when I had my
speaking
first beer.
of gifts, Jupiter, you provided us these delicious drinks. Where did you get these from?
So these lovely liquor store concoctions are from Eagle Liquor Market on Magnolia and Kester in Sherman Oaks.
In Sherman Oaks. Like, guys, you have no idea. When they come prepackaged, it's like a drink with like mixers, right? Like mine was, it had tequila. I forgot what else did it have.
It had the hypnotic,
It had a bottle of
and then had the
Hypnotic.
kinky liquor.
And the kinky liquor, right? And you just mix them all in together, and they taste amazing. I know you had.
Square, 1800 little bottle. That was a mixer.
Yeah.
Not mixer.
Yeah.
It was like a seltzer, right?
Yeah.
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 And then you had the Kool-Aid. Now, you had the best one. You had the one that looked the best.
I had two 99 banana fruit punches, a kettle, and then some like Shirley Temple drink with Kool-Aid rocks,
Yeah.
like pop rocks.
And they just come pre-made. You just.
Yeah, they came up with that during the pandemic. Having little certain drinks.
Yeah.
Oh, I already finished mine.
Yeah, you always finish it. You probably want to open that just a little bit. There you go. Yeah.
Too far.
Too far?
There you go.
Too far? There we go. Well, again, because this is a little baby room. Like I'm already
you don't
getting
get
around.
It is a baby room. It's a
Oh,
cute little baby room.
So when are we gonna get the new studio, Bucky?
When we have donors.
Patreon coming up.
Yeah.
If you guys want to support us, we will appreciate it. Okay, so anyways, getting back to the
God.
show.
Wait, hold on. We'll take Amazon gift cards.
We'll take
And listen, if any
Yes.
of my followers are watching, if you send proof that you've helped them out with their cause, you get a little something.
You get a little
Ooh,
something.
there you go.
See, because we're talking about alternative lifestyles today.
Yes.
That we are.
Breaking the stigma.
Breaking the stigma of alternative lifestyles, because everybody has their own thing, like things that make them happy, that they enjoy, right? It might not be what you find normal,
course.
But a lot of people have different things that they like to do, enjoy, right?
Of course.
On this show, we've actually talked about fetishes,
Yeah, we did.
right?
Yeah.
We kind of described like the difference between having a fetish and having a kink,
Kink.
right? Like I think we said a kink is something that
Kink is something that
There you go.
you like to get off on, but it's not necessary. A fetish is something that you need this to get off, or if not, you can't get off.
That's right. So that's a little distinction, right? So
It
we had
is.
a discussion, and then a few weeks ago we had a discussion on findom,
Yeah.
right? Which is kind of how our conversation started, right?
Yes.
Because we've known Jupiter for a while, but we had that conversation, and she's like, "Yeah, I kind of,
I've dabbled in
I
that.
dabbled. I like that's the word, right?
I did use the word dabbled.
Dabble. We're like, so how do you dabble in that? And that's kind of where this concept of today's show is like, yeah, some people dabble in different things.
Yep,
So
of
why
course.
don't we discuss that?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
So Bucky, I know it's a lot to read up
But-
there. So what is an alternative lifestyle?
I'm a little thirsty. An alternative lifestyle is a way of living that is considered unusual or outside the norm for a particular culture. It also can refer to a lifestyle that differs from what is considered normal in a modern society, such as not having a typical homer job.
Okay, right?
So out of the ordinary, right?
So out of the norm.
Out of the conservatism.
Out of the norm.
Conservatism.
I feel
Conservatism.
like it's out of the norm. Like
of the
what
norm.
what would be what everyone would consider the norm.
Yeah.
But that's where you get into questions of like, why is it considered normal?
Right. Well, like, yeah.
Why is that what the norm is? Like why?
Right.
And it's just majority rules.
That's what it
the
is.
reason.
I think that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
It's what majority might feel normal, right?
Yeah.
But is there any actual normal?
I think that's a loaded question.
Right. I think normal is more to the individual.
Exactly.
Right? Like what's normal to me might not,
Might not be normal to
you.
you. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
totally
as long
get
as
that.
you're not hurting anybody.
I have to agree with that. Like, I mean, if you're enjoying yourself, if
Yeah, if it doesn't affect you, mind your business.
Exactly.
If it's not pushed down your throat and it doesn't hurt anybody and you're comfortable in your own skin or comfortable in your own lifestyle, it's a normal thing for
Exactly.
yourself.
but a lot of people out there like to
Judge.
others.
Everybody's
Damn
going to
judges.
judge.
Everybody has
Everybody's
an
gonna
opinion.
Everyone has
Took
to
the
have
words
an
right out of my
opinion.
mouth.
Oh, did I?
Yep. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody's gonna say something. Doesn't matter if it's the craziest thing or even the lowest thing, even something normal. They'll criticize.
Like,
They'll
oh,
say
you like
whatever.
Modelo? You know?
Yeah, that's
Well,
stupid.
Modelo.
Wait, I was like,
Wait,
okay,
hold on. What's wrong
What's wrong with
Modelo?
Modelo?
Nothing's
Exactly.
wrong with Modelo, but you know there's those people that are like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Bud
a
Light. Okay.
Hold on, no, it's a Mexican beer. I mean, it's an American beer.
Yeah.
It's a Mexican American beer.
It's an American beer that identifies as a Mexican beer.
Right. So what are Modelo's pronouns?
It's a
Are they them?
Are they them?
they them.
Yeah.
Mexican or not Mexican?
Well, like I said, it's an American beer
It's
that's
American beer, right?
identified
Yeah,
as Mexican,
that's true.
Yeah.
Interesting. So enjoy your.
and it's also the second highest
Sales.
sales.
Is it second highest or is it number one?
Taste
Second
It
highest.
was number one for a while.
It
after
was
When
when
it changed.
When Bud Light,
but then it went back.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I went
Oh,
back to number.
really?
When did this
yeah.
happen?
Within the last like year, I would say.
when people
long-
realize
as long
that
as it
it's
tastes good.
stupid to judge beer.
I know.
They do it to anything. Doesn't matter what it is.
And that's exactly the point that we were making.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Everybody has their flavor, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Jupiter, would you say that you live an alternative lifestyle? In
Oh,
general?
absolutely. Yes.
Right? You're not what we call it, like generally considered like normal everyday living.
You know, I don't really like to speak upon what I feel like would be normal.
Right,
'cause
I
like
should've
like
said-
we
I
were
don't know.
just saying,
Yeah.
but like for myself,
Yeah.
I identify as a female.
Right.
And I am a polyamorous person, which means that I have love for many.
Yeah.
And I'm also pansexual, which means that I'm attracted to not just a gender, but a person.
A
Per
person.
se.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I don't like look at someone and say, oh, I'm going out looking for men or I'm going out looking for women.
Right.
I'm just out.
I have a
And
quick question.
if somebody, okay, question.
I have a quick question. Because it's not said much anymore. Maybe I'm just ignorant to it. Is bi a a derogatory term now?
No, bi is definitely not a derogatory term, but there is something called bi erasure that is very, very prevalent, which just means that there's a large portion of our people that are trying to, just of like any people, that are trying to erase that sort of sexuality because they feel like bisexual person is attracted to both men and women,
Right.
but then when they choose one partner, they might be monogamous and maybe they pick a man. Well,
Right.
are you really bisexual then? And that's what we call bi erasure. It's like they're still bisexual. They still like women, but maybe they've chosen this lifestyle. And here we come again into the gate of if it's not your business, then just mind your
Right.
own.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like, because
You fell for the person that whatever it is,
Exactly.
a guy, girl, but you fell for this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And pansexual just kind of opens that umbrella a little more to include maybe people that don't identify as a male or a female,
Right.
which for me, I've really never been interested in any particular gender. I've never
Right.
been like, I really just only like women. I really just only like men. So I feel like that definition for me, that works.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's actually really enlightening because I didn't know the difference. You know
I
what
mean, that's
There
the
was a-
hard part nowadays,
that's
right?
the
Like,
thing.
'cause
And you don't want to say the wrong thing either.
right, we don't want, nobody wants to offend anybody else.
No.
But at the same time, you want to have a little bit of understanding
Well, yeah.
of what.
It's
Somebody's
not. I
coming
don't want
from.
to offend anybody. I want to understand
Yeah.
and be a little more educated of what it is. It's like the whole pronoun thing, right?
Yeah.
I get it. I guess it's there. I get it's there, and I get people want to identify as, who they are. If people throw that out and turn it into a judgmental thing, it's like,
Yeah.
which, mind you, it can get tiring because it's constantly pushed out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can tell you that,
Yeah.
but
Change is tiring too.
change is
Yeah.
tiring, but it's just the fact that like some people don't understand where that person is coming from,
Yeah.
and that's what I think we should be doing here is also educating. Like it's not just an identification; it's more of like a respect.
Exactly. I
Right?
would never judge anybody for being straight or for being,
Right.
gay or just anything. I would never.
Mhm.
Unless like I say this all the time. Unless you're hurting somebody,
Right.
go right ahead.
If-
It's not my business.
I'm gonna go nerd here.
Okay. Okay. Go. Hey, nerd it up.
If this was Star Trek,
Uh huh.
there wouldn't be any gender pronouns.
Right.
If you think about it, because Gene
Yeah.
Roddenberry wanted everyone to be equal, no wars,
Exactly.
no religion, everyone was just in the
And
same
that was
plane.
one of the cornerstones
Yes.
of
Of
queer
Star-
culture.
Yeah.
yeah, of
Yeah.
Star
Yeah.
Trek.
I mean,
And also, yep.
it's just you're just you're just a
You're part.
being.
You're part of society.
Yeah, you're
you
being,
are.
right?
You
You're
are
just-
a being. You're part
yeah.
of society. Whether you're black, white, green, blue,
Romulan.
Romulan. Well, no, you can't say Romulans were bad guys. So
Well,
Well, whatever.
no, they were bad guys.
in the beginning. They're all together now. Okay, well, I'm not a big.
We'll say a human can be with a
Star-
Vulcan.
Star Trek.
A human
Yeah.
can be with a Vulcan.
I mean,
or,
you got Spock. He's half Vulcan, half.
That's true.
Sorry. All right. I
Yeah,
went
you
out.
can't do this. But that's a good point. It's a
No,
good
but
point.
I'm just putting it out there.
Great point.
It's a story, but it's a good moral story type
Yeah.
thing. What I'm trying to say.
Well,
Hey,
obviously.
one more.
One more.
And Battlestar Galactica.
oh my
Did the same thing.
Did they?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, okay. So this alternate lifestyle that you've been living you pretty much your whole life, you would say.
For my whole life, yes.
Yeah.
There was a small, medium part of my life that I didn't really practice that much, but I just didn't know really who I was. So I
Yeah.
would say, like, fully for myself, I
Yeah.
started really accepting who I was and, like, living my truth in about 2020.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, now that led me to another question. Did you feel like you had to be a certain way in the past? Like you thought, like, oh, I should be like this, or I should.
just didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
I know. I dabbled in, like, things
Yeah.
during previous times
Yeah.
before that, but it wasn't until 2020.
What made you open the doors in 2020? Like, what was the thing that made you like, all right, this is the moment to have it?
Very good question.
I mean, without dredging up too much of my past,
Right. Without like, yeah.
I just felt like I wasn't living my truth, and I was like, this is who I really am. And I think denying that is just going to cause me a lifetime of feeling sad and out
Question,
of place.
like say the COVID didn't happen that time.
Oh no,
Well-
I was already on track
Already.
for doing all this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
So-
the pandemic was just kind of a thorn in my
But you
plans at
just
that
do it,
time.
just like a little push. For the COVID.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Like, was COVID kind of isolated
Everybody.
people?
COVID
It
actually
did.
kind of made people think about who they were.
Yeah, it kind
A
of
lot of things
forced
changed.
them to
There was
think
so
about
many-
it.
Yeah.
everyone had a lot of
different
time.
things.
Well, you had to.
They did.
You were engaged at that
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
So
I think
I actually started going on this journey before pandemic,
Right.
and
Yeah.
pandemic COVID actually stunted my ability to kind of make these plans sort of go faster. But I mean,
But you were always on that.
I
the
had
journey,
been
right?
on that path. I just was kind of trying to get the person that I was with at the time to sort of see that that was something,
Yeah.
and then they didn't support me, so I had to end up jumping ship.
Yeah.
So as soon as you did that, did you feel freer? Did something?
Oh my
change?
god, the minute I literally drove away from
Mm-hmm.
the house, I literally like spread my wings and I flew away. I never looked back, and I've never thought like, oh maybe no, this
No.
is who I was meant to
You
be.
always live in
Gotcha.
California, or
Yeah.
That's great. Like, I mean, just imagine that feeling like you're not sure, and then all of a sudden now
I
you
like
can't-
held my breath and
Yeah.
jumped
No.
into a giant pool, and I was like,
Well, there's some things that you're holding inside and you want to let out. And
Exactly.
at one point or another, you're either going to let it out or you're going to go
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
mhm,
so. This
exactly.
this is just an off topic. Well, I mean, it's part of the topic. But are you religious?
Somewhat religious. I definitely believe in a higher power. I was
Mm-hmm.
raised Reformed Jewish, but we did not really practice often. And it
Okay.
wasn't until my grandfather passed away that my mom was like, I want to become more involved in the temple. And I was like, oh, okay. So,
Wait, so did you have the bat mitzvah?
no,
and all those
I never
things?
had any of that. But my
Where
mom,
you became.
no, my mom actually had it when she was 60.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
She had
crazy.
never
Wow.
had it because, like, culturally, back in her time,
Mm-hmm.
it just really wasn't a thing. I never had it. I never wanted it. I
Yeah.
still really don't.
No.
But I do think that having, like, knowledge or, like, love for a higher power,
Yeah.
it fuels you. I think about God
Yeah.
all the time.
I
and
mean,
you feel accepted by
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, of course. He
That's-
says that we are created in his image.
Exactly.
So.
That's I'm just putting out there because there's a lot of
Religious
I'm not
zealots
digging,
out there.
Yeah, I'm not digging on anybody or
you're
anything.
judging.
I'm just
Don't say that.
I'm just saying it's just sad because there are sects that just kind of like judge accordingly, and it's
Yeah.
and it's not even
That's the world we live on.
But it's
That is
not-
the
You
world we
can't
live
fix
in.
But it's-
it.
but
You
it's-
can't fix it.
because it's interpreted in a different aspect. It's not even written.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That whatever's
Yeah.
written is interpreted.
Yeah.
Why can't I speak today?
It
you know-
might have been the cocktails. I
Yes.
think.
I
maybe.
didn't drink. Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm not
it was the
judging, but
root,
I am
the root
judging.
beer
It
float,
was the
whatever
root
that-
beer or whatever.
Oh yeah,
root
dude,
beer
it
coffee
was
float.
it was Dr Pepper, and it was that horchata rum.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I forget what it was
Rum chata.
called, rum chata, and then I think it was Crown.
It was called delicious.
So delicious. It's,
Yeah,
I'm,
it was
I'm,
called
still, I'm
delicious.
still sipping it.
Wow, we can see that. Suck that thing off.
Listen, you're gonna come into people that everywhere, no matter what you're doing, that are
Yeah.
gonna try to judge you and tell you that you're doing something wrong. But I think just ignoring all of that and knowing that you're doing the best for you is all you can really do. And this
Yeah.
is what makes me happy. And I trust me, I've tried what they would think is the right way.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, there's
wasn't
always
for
going to be
me.
somebody trying to tell you what to do.
It
or,
wasn't
or
for
how to
me.
do it right or what it
Exactly.
is.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this yesterday about being the growth mindset, right? Mm-hmm. That there's always going to be haters in whatever you do,
Yeah.
right? Be it doing a podcast,
Yeah.
be it expressing who you are as a person. Somebody's
Yeah.
going to be like, "No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like what you got to say. I don't like what you're thinking.
You
I
got to
don't
do
like
it
what
this
you're doing."
way. Like,
You know what? At the end of
and then you're like,
day,
who the fuck are you, first of all?
as Charles will say, right? Yeah, like, dude, like at the end, they don't control your life, right? You control your own life. So
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
Um,
like
you
what
ain't
I
paying my
said,
bills.
what I said with the growth
Exactly.
mindset is
Yeah.
like, you gotta put yourself, or you gotta find that group that actually accepts you for who you are, because
Right.
it makes you grow.
that community,
That community.
yeah.
Because if you, I was gonna ask the question, how do you overcome that? Being judged by random people, but we did have that conversation. Is like you put yourself into the same peers that have the same type of mentality, mindset,
Yeah.
and you grow with that. And that's kind of the best way. But how do you find those people? Is the other question.
I mean, living in LA, it's very easy for me to have found community.
Yeah.
But I will say that it took me until probably 2019 to actually find community where I could find like the vernacular to actually understand who I was. Because for the longest time, I was like, well, I'm a cheater and I'm a whore. And like, that's all there is to it. And like, I'm just never going to be freaking right. And my brain's always going to be wrong. And then I was introduced to a very lovely group that I'm still friends with to this day. And
That's
it's how I
awesome.
found my current partner. And I mean, honestly, there are always some bad seeds, and there were definitely some bad seeds in that group. But for the most part, they helped me like validate, like, you are okay. This
Yeah.
is somewhat normal. Like,
Do you feel like that's a very loving community?
it is? Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's always good.
Yeah,
That's the thing is, you know, it's a loving community, and like if they care about you and you care about them, it accentuates the whole you know lifestyle, and yeah, it's kind of the
So
point I want to
everybody's
bring
on the
up.
same page.
Same page, but I mean it's just more of a peace. Nice.
Oh, it's all good. We've been doing that all night.
What did we do? What happened?
I burped too.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Sorry, I keep trying to.
That was like the cutest
Go
burp
away.
I've ever had. I didn't even know.
Interrupt my
It
positive
was just
rant.
Lucky talking, so
Sorry.
it was just
No.
Lucky.
That's true.
Speak.
All right.
Yeah.
Goodbye. No.
Now, obviously, this whole episode started because we're talking about kinks,
Yeah, kinks and findom and
that sort of
fetishes
thing,
and
right?
dominatrix and yeah.
Right, and then
And
you
the
brought
Matrix.
and then you did bring up that it was during COVID, which was a weird time for the whole
The whole
world,
world.
right?
Yeah.
Like nobody was working, nobody
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I was still working during
I
the
was
Oh,
still,
you-
I was
you
still
were?
working too.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I was for a few
I
months I
kinda
wasn't
was.
working, and then when you. Fine, you guys
You were
are
the only
you guys are
unemployed one.
braves.
Yeah, I took I can't say a bullet here. Took a woo flu here.
Wow.
So you wait, okay. So as soon as the world shut down, you were still
Still working.
the
That
whole
was-
time,
the whole-
nonstop.
Non-stop.
That's crazy.
Essential
Well,
workers.
You're essential.
because
Were you
we,
essential?
People were moving like office buildings, houses, or we were have the liberty to.
But obviously, you had to have like.
I hate the mask. I
Yeah.
hate it.
He also didn't believe it was real.
What?
Right? Well, okay, that's true. That's
You're
true.
judging.
Oh, just
So you were you working the whole time?
Yeah, yeah.
The world never stopped for you.
Well, I have my security company, so
Ah.
people needed security.
Like my brother was in security, but he actually had lost his job because there was nothing to secure.
Oh.
There were certain spots in certain companies that
Yeah.
couldn't secure anything; they would just let them go. But
Yeah.
good for my spot.
Yeah.
I didn't get let go.
Yeah.
I actually got more work.
Yeah. I don't know about your industry. How was?
well, my industry was very slow, but because it was so new, I did a show for a very big company, and we didn't have protocols yet. They just gave
Yeah.
us a box of PPE and says, "Shoot this," and I was literally shooting a piece of an episode at a COVID test site.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
But we didn't think about how serious because it was like more May of 2020,
Right.
so nobody knew the
Yeah, it
exact
wasn't-
Yeah.
you know how crazy it was. Luckily, none of us got sick,
Well, thank goodness.
which is great. But it
Yeah.
was just the fact that the company that put us out there
Yeah.
didn't have protocols, didn't know what was going on. They're like, yeah,
Nobody
we're just
no
gonna
one
make
did.
this-
man.
Nobody did. It's
But, it,
unprecedented.
but they're also exploiting the whole the COVID part of it. They're like, oh, we found people that are helping other people. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
But they turned it into a TV show, which I was fine. It was great. I thought it was great.
You ever got sick?
I did
You
in
did?
Australia.
Eventually.
Oh, Australia.
It took me 2 years to get sick, and I went to one of the strictest countries
Yeah.
because they made us sign waivers, they made us take
Yeah.
a test, they make us like trace everything, and week 3 I was there, I got it.
Mhm.
How long you
That's
were gone?
crazy.
I was down for 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah.
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 It was great. Got paid.
Well, good.
Stayed in my really nice hotel room. So
Good for you guys. Good for you guys that you were able to have some employment. I wasn't able to work for a few months.
Yeah.
Because I work
Well,
with
you're in
people.
close contact.
Yeah, very close contact.
Like
right?
literally like this.
Yes. Yeah. So I wasn't working, and then in your case, you weren't working.
I was
either.
doing remote work for a company, but it just wasn't enough to like really
Right.
pay. Well, I was saving money to like
Right.
move out, so
Right.
I wasn't making enough. I needed to like stack a large amount of money
Right.
very quickly.
So in that situation, like a lot of people in your situation, you had to find alternative means to survive,
Yeah.
to make a living.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of where our conversation started. Right
Yeah.
here. Like, so what did you do? if it's okay. If you
Yeah,
don't mind
that's
sharing.
totally fine.
Yeah.
So before the pandemic, I had like a few people, just gonna say people, that I would sell nude photos to for money, but it was all in good fun type
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
Like I would be at a festival and I would have a Polaroid camera, and in order to buy drinks for myself at the festival,
Yeah.
I would take a little random photo of my boob and then
Yeah.
sell it to some high guy on drugs, and I'd be like, give me $40,
Yeah.
and he'd be like, hell yeah, you know.
I'm keeping this one.
Yeah. But then during pandemic, I was like, well, I mean, I could monetize on this a little more. Actually shot with a photographer that has a lot of very high profile stars that he works with. And he was like, I can help you set up an OnlyFans. And I was like, all right, well, let's do it.
Because this was brand new back then.
No, OnlyFans was definitely not brand new, but
I mean, like, it wasn't.
it became popular during
There
that
you go, that's
time
what I meant. It's more
because
popular.
'Cause everybody was at home.
Exactly.
Because I think it started like a few years before that.
It did. It started about 2 years before that, and I was on
Exactly,
a different
2018.
site even before that. I don't want to name the site, but
Okay.
it was even before that I was on there for a little while. Same idea though. So what I ended up doing, they were very artistic. I
Yeah.
don't know if any of you have ever seen any of the work, but it was artistic representations of my body in
Yeah.
the nude.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't just like straight up porn.
Right.
Which it could be like if somebody paid me to do that in a message or whatever, like
Right.
I would do that. But
Yeah.
it was like, you know, a guy that had like a camera from the 80s with
Yeah.
some really rad film in it, and he would
Yeah.
like develop the film,
Yeah.
and it would be like, wow, I went to the Madonna Inn and I like took these really cool photos, and then I
Right.
would
That's
like
interesting.
put them on my OnlyFans. I had 2 different sites. I had a paid one and a free one.
Right.
And that way I could have a larger net of customers,
Yeah.
people that could afford to pay me monthly, and then people that couldn't, that
Or-
wanted to just kind of buy things as they went.
It should have been kind of like a promo, right? Because the free one, it kind of enticed them to be like, oh, let me go pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And on the free one, a lot of the stuff was censored, and on the paid one, it was not.
Right.
But yeah, I ended up making a good amount of money, enough for the IRS to need a cut. So
and that's the only thing. Like, all the government has to take their piece.
they
Yes,
do.
right.
I ended up, I mean, they give this to almost everybody that works for them, but you get a form for your taxes.
What was it, 1099?
1099 W2. What would it?
It'll be 1099.
I don't remember.
It'll be a 1099.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
okay.
If you're.
I just printed it out. I wrote it out.
Whatever it is, they take too much.
They do.
Well, yeah, 30, 35, 40%.
Yeah, about
What?
that.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
40%.
And as a bartender with my other gig,
Right.
all that mixed together,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
owing them
$20, yeah.
thousands and thousands every year.
Unless you write shit off.
Yeah.
I do write shit off. Absolutely.
Clothes?
When you own, well, clothes is not really, it's difficult.
Equipment.
Yeah.
Camera.
It depends what it is.
It depends
'cause-
on what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can actually write off clothes if it's work related.
Yeah. But it has to be like,
Yeah.
only that you're using for work, and they would argue that lingerie is not.
What?
I spoke
That's
with
true.
my ex-husband about this, who was a tax man, when I
Yeah.
was trying to do my taxes, and I said that, and he was like, you can't do that.
Because they consider like you were using more for your sleeping.
But what's random is that they allow you to write off like food,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
don't require much trail for that.
Yeah.
So I just went on my bank statement, and I was like, all right.
As much as you can.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know. Now you can ask some of these questions that we did come up with.
Did we ask when did you get into this?
My God, I did my first photo shoot, I would say probably like with another photographer.
Yeah.
I think in like 2016.
Yeah.
It was a very cool shoot. We ended up going to Ojai and doing a hike, and there was
Ooh.
like a creek over
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
And
Were you nervous about
So you were out in nature.
Oh,
You're out
yeah.
in the open. This is
Oh,
like
yeah.
the whole.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
got to swim in the creek
Yeah.
butt naked. It was
Yeah.
actually very cold in there, but I got some very, very beautiful shots from that particular shoot. And I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with this. I just knew that like it was something I liked doing.
Right.
So it wasn't until probably like I would say around 2020,
Yeah.
2019 when I shot with Jordan, and
Yeah.
he was like, you should do something with all these photos that you
Right,
have. Like,
right.
what are you taking these for
Yeah.
to post on Instagram? And I was
Yeah.
like,
I mean, that is a good point. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you're doing.
You're wasting it if you put it on Instagram. Just
yeah, exactly.
Is it for you for your own like little like photo album?
And it wasn't.
or-
I definitely returned my investment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wait, so did he charge you for these photos? This is like-
I'm trying to think. I don't think that I have paid a photographer to
Right.
work with them, but there are some that are very like established that
Right.
maybe you might want to pay for work with them.
Yeah.
I have worked with some very very prestigious people.
Yeah.
One person shot for Vogue before, and he's
Oh.
also done like New York
Yeah.
Fashion Week,
So
Paris
it's not
Fashion
just
Week.
some dude with the iPhone
No.
going, okay, now jump out
Absolutely
the
not.
water.
Look good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, this
Nope,
is-
nope,
this is
no.
It's high quality. It's high quality.
There are some really, really cool photographers I've worked with.
Yeah.
Not really any that I've kept in contact with.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the scene, and for any females watching out there thinking,
Mhm.
oh, maybe I might try this,
That's a
the
good
scene
question.
is very, very polluted with
Yeah.
really horrible men.
Right. So, and that's kind of like a fear. Like somebody's like, yeah, I'll take your photos, but it's more like taking advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one has ever like touched me inappropriately or done anything like that, but I have had inappropriate experiences where I've just felt like I don't want to do this with this person anymore.
Yeah.
And it was one of the main components to why I decided that I didn't really want to like pursue that avenue anymore. And
Right.
it's like, I'll take my own photos, thank you. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, now that you kind of like you kind of went through it a few times, you're like, okay, I know what works. I know this angle's right.
I was always my best photographer.
Yeah,
I
really.
only let people start taking my own my photos like when I told you in 2017, 2018
Right.
when I did that first photo shoot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but before
Well-
that I was very comfortable taking my own photos.
It's trial and error. You went through the experience, you learned
Yeah.
from it, and
Yeah.
you know, you're like, I do it better this way. So
Exactly. But I got some really great work
Yeah.
from
And
it.
it sounds
you
like
know?
you're very comfortable in your own skin. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, I never went anywhere just by myself. I always had somebody come with me.
That's good.
And if somebody was not okay with that, then I was not going to be shooting with them.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Smart.
I try.
What else we got?
Well, actually, did you mention this? When did you know it's something you wanted to try? Like, was there a specific time?
Like, or a moment where you're like, you know
Yeah.
what, this is why not?
Probably when Jordan was like, what are you doing with all these photos? What are you doing with all of these? And he was like, I can help you, like put
Yeah.
them somewhere. And I'm a very like do it my own self type of girl.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can do it, but
Yeah.
just I don't know really where or how. And he was like, well, here are some good sites that you can
Yeah.
start with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that plus, I don't know, I've always been very like astute with a camera. Like I've always, even as a kid, I had a little point and shoot film.
It's always fun taking
Yeah.
pictures with. cool
Well, I
stuff.
know you got into it because now we got all the cameras now, right?
Yeah.
I know you
working on
know.
I'm still working on my black and whites. So.
So how did you
Yeah.
how did you promote this? How did you promote yourself to get the people that you got?
Oh, that's a good one.
So I was kind of lucky and I already had a lot of friends that were in the same kind of industry. And then when I would work with photographers, they would set me up with other girls that I would then either shoot with or become friends with. And
Yeah.
we just kind of did a lot of cross promotion that way. And now there's like a lot of blocks on social media sites for stuff like this. It's called like content farming, engagement farming, stuff like that. They don't really allow you to do that anymore, but I would just go on social media on my own page and
Yeah.
I would be like, hey, did you ever want to see my butt cheeks? Because here they are. And that went pretty well. Also, when I started bartending, a lot of the men there want just
that
a
opened it
little
up
more
too.
piece of me,
Yeah.
which is great, but I don't want to physically give that to
Right.
them. So this is a good way to like mediate that.
It's like, so no, but I can give you
This.
this.
And
side.
While
lot-
you give me this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that also was a good little thing. And like I said, I had about 3,000 followers between both accounts put together. And that was
I mean, that's
it was pretty
that's a
good.
good
Yeah.
number right there.
For
right?
being on there, I think I was on there for 3.5 years.
Wow.
I did deactivate both of my accounts.
Okay, so now you're actually.
I was really worried about AI. To
You
be
know
perfectly
what? I
honest.
can't. I can't.
My art is very specific
Yeah.
to who I am,
Yeah.
and I would be so sad if all of a sudden my art became a part of the algorithm.
Yeah. So it's
Fair.
your
I
face.
I want to keep it like
Your
me.
face, but on Trump's body. you know.
I mean,
Her face, but Biden's spread out.
Oh, whoa.
Hey, people like weird things nowadays.
they
man.
do, and we're not king shaming at
Yeah.
all here.
No, we're not. I'm just saying.
Somebody will like that.
Yeah,
There's somebody
they're
out
gonna be like,
there.
"Oh, yeah."
Yeah, educate me. I don't have to like it, but educate me.
I don't. You have to like it, but you can't turn away.
No.
But you can't turn away.
The way I look at it is enlighten me, but doesn't mean I have to actually like it.
No one said you did.
I'm that's what I'm saying. But have you gone any further than just doing pictures?
I have done some public performances.
Oh.
Those are more, those are a little different because the public performances are going to be more like BDSM impact play sort of driven. And I've done probably about 4 or 5. Most of them have been at Bar Sinister in Hollywood.
Or sister.
Which is one of the like biggest
Yeah.
names I feel
Yeah.
like in like pop goth pop goth
It
club.
could also be golf though. Swinging.
And then a few of them were for private parties that I probably think they would not want to be named.
Okay,
we
gotcha.
don't
Well, you
need
mean like so like a person party, a person's
No,
party, or
there's
like an event?
there are like private groups of people that
Oh.
throw their own kink parties. I've been
Gotcha.
to some in Las Vegas. I've been to some in Los Angeles. Should I not say that word?
No.
No,
They
no,
want to
no,
fight.
no.
That's a good question.
Oh,
He likes to jump in all the time.
Yeah.
Don't jump in. I'm next.
that's okay.
we gotta wave the finger. We gotta do something with him. Get the buzzer out.
Yeah.
But mostly Las Vegas and Los Angeles are the other places. But they're like private.
Right.
What do I even call them? Private societies, I guess,
Gotcha.
that are. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Who's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
first?
Certain underground like cliques and certain things that you don't see as even
Exactly.
normal.
Some are underground and some I would say are a little more above ground, where
Yeah.
they're more like catered to like swinging adults that are like happy in relationships, but they just want to like kind of branch out a little bit and have like a little wild night, which is great.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, go for it. I love
Yeah.
that for you. But then there's also more underground things
Yeah.
that are definitely like at 4 a.m. in a grungy ass warehouse with
Oof.
like, you know, who's really standing around you.
Yeah.
I've done all of that as well.
So I was gonna say it's just because that documentary I worked on. We had a segment where they would call a tantra party. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So men would pay to go to these parties, and it's kind of like a swingers type
Okay.
gig,
Yeah.
but there's escorts,
Yeah.
and they'll spend. Pretty much it's a orgy.
So I've never done anything like that. The ones that I've gone to have mostly been like the swinger parties, but there is one, it was like an afters, and they had like music, they had a BDSM area, and there were some things that I did there that were definitely more along the lines of your tantric parties, but definitely mostly on the other end.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to lead this question in. What's the most interesting thing to you or craziest thing you've done in all
Oh
this?
my God.
That you can share, I guess.
Yeah, that you can share.
What can I say on here?
Anything, apparently. He
You're
might
just
have
gonna
to.
edit it out.
He
If
might
I
have to
see
edit it
such,
out.
like, I'm gonna cut this entire segment out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I
It's
went.
as open as you want to be. Is
Okay.
You
Well,
don't have to say anything.
no, it's
if you
okay.
don't want to.
I tell this story sometimes, so
Okay.
I don't know who has heard this and who hasn't, but I went to. This was actually right before the pandemic. It was Hard Day of the Dead out in Los Angeles. It was a rave, and somehow I managed to pick up like 4 dudes. Like one of them was very hot, and I was definitely into him.
Yeah.
But he had like 3 friends, and they were all visiting from Texas, and so I had just so happened I had like 5 tickets for an afters in LA. And it was like a BDSM afters, and
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
"Hey, you guys want some candy in an alley?" Like, so I literally was like, "Okay." So we took an Uber over there, and we get out of the Uber, and we're going down an alley in LA, just like a random 3 a.m. And they're like, oh, we're going down another alley. And I was like, yes, just trust me. I promise you it's fine. So we went down the second alley. We go in the event.
Famous last words by
Right?
Just trust me. Okay. Just trust
Right?
me. Yeah.
So we get in the event and we're having fun. There was definitely drugs involved in this. I just want to kind of say that. So then more drugs happened. And we're sitting on a couch very similarly to this that the club, this afters, had one leather couch just like this. And the guy that I thought was hot was with me. And we're sitting there talking. And then this man, all in a full GIMP suit, which is just like latex all over his head, his entire body, just
He's
his mouth
picturing
was
this. I
out.
can see him picturing this.
And his eyes, but I had seen him many times before at this afters, and he was always like that guy that was hiding in the corner, kind of just like staring at me, and I was just like, who is this guy? But he seemed very harmless, and I knew a lot of people at this event, so if anything really were to go down, like it wouldn't go too far. So he comes up to me, and I'm talking to the guy that I was interested in right here, and then the guy comes up to me in the full suit, and he's like, can I rub your feet? And I was like, for money? And I was like, it'll be $200. And he was like, all right, I got you. And he literally pulled $200 out of his somewhere. I don't even fucking remember from where though.
So, question: where do you keep your money if you're wearing a GIMP suit?
I don't even know. I was very high. I just know that there was $200 in my hand when I asked for
You
it.
accepted right away.
Yeah. And so I was sitting like this, and the guy in the GIMP suit got right here. And so I had to put both of my legs up here because one guy was fingering me, the guy that I was interested in. I'm sorry, I'm not close enough to the mic. So the one guy was fingering me here. And then this guy was the gimpy guy who was rubbing my feet. And I had been at a festival all day. And so actually this foot rub was like really, really
It's
great.
exactly what you needed at that
It was
moment.
exactly what I needed. And then the funniest part about that
Usually you
this
have to
whole...
pay for that, but you got paid for
No,
this.
I get paid for this. Kind
Yeah,
of
you
stuff.
got to pay for this.
So the funniest part about this entire experience is that the person, there's two people that used to run this afters, and one of the people I used to be sexually involved with. I would say it's nothing further than that. We were not on talking terms at the time, and so he comes through the door, and this room is like in between the club and the outside. And he comes through the door, and he just like locks eyes with me as I'm getting fingered and my foot rubbed by a gimp on his fucking couch. And he's just like, and he just turns around and he walks
It's
out.
like, yeah, this is not. I don't need to see this today.
That's crazy.
But you know what? It was great. It was a really great night. I definitely left with 3 guys. I made that other guy that I used to be sexually involved with very hot under the collar because I left with, it was 4 guys actually. I left with 4 hot men and he was not one of them. So, and I got fingered and I got my feet rubbed.
His loss.
And I made $200. So it was like, it was a great night.
That's very interesting. That's a good story.
I think I'm in the wrong business. This is.
Listen, that was so long ago. I feel like I need to like get back into that, but I also feel like there's a lot has changed now in that scene, and it's a little more dangerous than it used to be.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
so use caution.
I think you have to be wary of anything in that nature, just because you don't know what your intentions of somebody else is.
Especially drugs too these days.
I was the one that had the drugs. Just to preface everything, I was the one that had the drugs. The men did not have any drugs. I was the one that was like, "Do you want Molly?"
You said they're from Texas.
They were from Texas.
Some cowboys.
Yeah.
They were definitely not cowboys. They were scrubs.
That's okay. We're looking at you, Bucky.
Silence.
I mean, I tried to get to a segue, but Findham.
Ah, okay, yeah. So back to like
I couldn't get into a subject. I tried
That's true.
Like, I don't know how to segue that, but anyway, Findham. Yeah.
Findham. Okay, so as
let's
we
get
mentioned,
a Findham question in.
Financial domination. Yes.
So you said that you dabbled in that as well a little bit.
I have dabbled in that a few times.
Yeah. How did this happen?
How does it work? How do you find the men that do
I think
these?
I think the men find you.
Right.
Okay.
And that's kind of, you just have to be in the right place at the right time type of thing. There are people and places and sites where you can find people like this, but I personally, the people that I have interacted in that type of dynamic, they have all found me.
Okay.
Really?
And I'm not the type of person that I'm like, give me all your money.
Right.
It's more like, how is this going to benefit the both of us
Yeah.
type of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
What are you gonna get out of it? And what am I gonna get?
Well,
out of it?
exactly. Exactly.
So when they approach you, is there like kind of a way that they want you to speak to them, Like
No, not really.
or do they just come like, you know what? I just want to do this. I want to give this.
Generally, it's another dynamic that
Yeah.
is the top of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like for one of them, I'll use this as an example to
Okay.
make it easy for everybody.
To you. Okay.
So I had a daddy for a little while.
Okay.
Our relationship lasted about 6 months. It was a romantic and sexual and financial relationship.
Right.
He wanted to be able to take care of me financially.
Right.
He wanted to sort of be a daddy figure emotionally for me.
Right.
And he also wanted to be romantically involved with me. So we would go on dates and stuff.
Was there an age gap between
Yes,
you?
he was 52 and I was 31. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Big
So
time. Big
Is
time.
that a normal thing to have like older men?
I mean, a lot of older men have a more disposable income, especially if they're single still at that type of age.
So that was more like a sugar daddy type situation.
It was, but he didn't like that sugar terminology. He just wanted to be daddy,
Okay.
which is fine. That's when you were asking, like,
Yeah.
how do they want you to address them or talk to them?
right.
That's
right.
why it's mostly another relationship that'll be like the core part,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the financial will come in
Yeah.
after that.
Well, and I think you just said the word in there. It is a relationship.
It is. It's a dynamic, I would say, and a relationship as well. Some people just want a pretty girl to take their money, and they want someone to be mean to them.
Yes.
That is very rare.
right.
It is a very rare dynamic. Most of the time, they want something from you in return. So it has to be somebody you're willing to give something in return for.
Right, because that's what we were talking about. Like, they when we were watching, we were talking about this
Yeah.
on that episode. It's not the girls made it sound like, oh, there's
They're treating them like shit.
no, there's plenty of guys out there that want to do this to you. They just give you money
Yeah.
and treat them like shit, right?
No, I wouldn't say that that's the truth. And
No.
somebody who's definitely like dabbled in this community and been very not rooted, but like I've seen a lot of different dynamics in the way that people are. It's very rarely that dynamic. There are people out there like that.
Yeah.
Well,
but
with
it is
money,
very
somebody's
rare.
always gonna want something for giving you
That's
money, right?
For
That's
the
what we're
most
saying.
part.
Because we're thinking
Yeah.
like these guys are just giving out money for free for nothing,
I know.
Just to be treated like.
just to be treated like crap. I don't see it.
It's
So you
pretty
could be-
rare,
So you could be
but
called a pay pig or a human ATM, right? Wait, have you ever used terms like that with somebody?
I'm trying
She's
to
smiling.
think,
I don't know. She's
but
smiling right
I
now.
don't think
Bucky,
so.
what was the pay pig question?
Have you ever pulled out of a pay pig?
There you go.
I don't,
How much have you ever pulled out
how
of a
much
pay
have I
pig?
pulled out of it? You know what? I actually don't think I've ever done that, but I do sometimes wonder if my relationship with my ex-husband, who paid for my life for like 13 years,
Wow.
I do sometimes wonder if maybe that might be categorized under that. I did love him very much, though.
Yeah.
I do want to say that,
Yeah.
but I didn't pay for anything for
Right.
13 years.
For 13 years, you're just like.
Well, you cared about him, and he cared about you. You guys
Exactly.
were in love, right?
Yeah.
So then he just did the normal thing. The man
know.
provided for you.
Yeah, but then
Mm-hmm.
I look back on it and I look at what he's doing now, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I was just being used and I was just using him.
Okay.
So,
So there's more to it.
Yeah,
But
quid pro
yeah.
quo.
exactly.
Quid pro
Pro
quo. Yeah.
Did you have any other expectations other than money?
For the daddy situation, absolutely. Absolutely. We were in a relationship, and that's eventually what ended up killing it for me. And we were only together for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Because he disrespected me in our relationship and tried to tell me that I was reading too much into something. And I was like, well, you lied to me
Yeah.
about hanging out with another person and told me you didn't have enough time for me. And I just don't like that. And he was like, well, we can be friends and we can work on this. And I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I know that's not what I need from you. And that question really rang true with me right now because
Yeah.
I literally told him, I was like, I want you to be in my life as what we said you were going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't need you to be a friend of mine, because then what happens, and I've watched this happen with him with other females, is all of a sudden then they start using him for his money. And I
Yeah.
did not want that from him. I could have taken him without the money and it would have
Right.
been fine, but he wanted to give me the money. So
Right.
I took it from him.
It's yeah, that's weird. It's weird dynamic, right?
Yeah, sure
It's like
is.
you're taking, they're giving, they're giving, they're taking, but then there's a little bit extra involved, and then emotions become
Yeah.
become attached, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, it's not just the money, and he kind of made you feel like, no, I'm paying you.
Yeah, I think he
And we're just
thought like
friends
exactly.
and-
I think he thought he could just downgrade it because you just needed him so much, and I was like, but I really don't. And I've said before, I've always been like a self-starter. Like I've been hungry for success. Like I don't do these kinds of things because it's like my meal ticket. I do
Right.
it because it's like a little chip off the block. Like it's a little drop in the bucket. So I don't need your little drop in the bucket. Like,
but of course, some people do treat it that way as
oh
the
yeah,
ticket, right?
absolutely.
And they try to take every cent they can.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Clean them dry.
Which-
but of course, they're willing to give though. That's the thing. They might be taken, but it's not somebody that's not. saying,
And
"I
listen, if there is somebody out there that would love to support me and my lifestyle, please, by all means, let me know.
Where can they find you?
They can find me. Oh my God, this is pretty bad. They can find me on Instagram at typical jupes. Typical jupes. Typical.
Typical.
So,
Jupes.
question.
Yeah.
Morally, how do you feel about taking money from men?
I feel great about that. Honestly, I feel great about taking money from just about anybody that'll hand me money. And I feel like everybody should feel that way. In our economy right now, we don't have time to look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to give you money, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You just-
Especially in California.
Exactly.
What did Hannah say on the last episode?
Which one? Oh, nobody likes to struggle.
Nobody wants to
Nobody
struggle.
wants to struggle.
Nobody wants to
Exactly.
struggle.
And look at everybody that is struggling. Like, I would say a good 75% of California's residents are struggling really hard. And if they could all get extra money, everybody would take it.
Which is why on that episode I was saying, like, I don't blame anybody who takes the money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame you for taking somebody's money. The issue a lot of times comes with like the men that do that, or the people that give it away. Like, if you have disposable income, fine, but the one where they're being like disrespected, right? Talked down to. I mean, is that your kink? Like,
I think that is the thing.
that's the thing,
That
right?
is their kink.
You know what? I have this money, and I want you to treat me bad.
Yep.
And with Findom, you don't even get like
And there's also things like
photos,
safe words.
Safe words. Well, that's a little different. Like, see, at least in that situation, you guys are getting something.
Yeah.
But with Findom,
But
that's
from what
the
we heard, most of Findom is just that.
It
Being
is.
treated like crap, and here you go.
But
Here you go.
it's also, I would personally say that it's more than that. Like there is that aspect, but then there's also a lot of people that even in the domination aspect, they
Right.
still want to make sure that not only are they giving you something, but that you're giving something as well.
Right,
So like having a daddy figure in your life where you like, you know, you might go out to dinner with him
Right.
and you have a lovely dinner where he's seen in public with a really beautiful woman.
Yeah.
That's part of
Yeah.
the domination aspect because he's giving you money. That's what you're giving him in return. It's
Right.
not necessarily she's always like, you're a piece of shit.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
But some people still like that.
I know they do. I actually have a few, I wouldn't say they're people that I financially dominate or anything, but there are some men that I know that do like that.
Yeah.
And the thing to remember about stuff like that is that there's a time and a place for that, and there's a zone for that. So we always want to have that safe word ready.
Yeah.
And if you're not okay with what's being said, the safe word, and then it's over.
Well, I
And
guess so.
having that safety is
So you can
is
go
good.
out of bounds from both parties. Like, it could be out of bounds for something that they say
Yeah.
you, or
Absolutely.
treat you in a certain way that's
Yeah.
out of bounds.
Or you said to them.
Or maybe they might say
Yep.
something out of bounds for
Absolutely.
their end. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Safe word. What's the safe word? Shibuya? Roll call?
What's everybody's safe
I don't
word?
know. What's it? What
Which one?
What were your,
For which one?
who flew?
Oh, who flew?
Gubernatorial.
No, bro. So that's not my safe word. No.
Pineapple.
Hey, that's good.
Hey, have you ever felt unsafe and maybe have you ever felt unsafe and maybe these men become possessive or stalkerish?
Ooh.
No. I have learned from many people who have done this before me exactly how to hide certain parts of my identity. And using a third-party website like OnlyFans to distribute photos definitely hides your like digital footprint a little
Right.
better than if I was to just be interacting with them through email or through text message. There are ways to like geolocate a photo. If you send something to somebody, they can find out exactly where you took that photo.
That's
and
true.
and
Yeah.
it's very scary, and I definitely learned a lot of how to like circumnavigate around that,
Yeah,
so
'cause-
I don't have that problem.
I think as a woman, that's something you have
Absolutely.
to be a respectful fear of.
I
'Cause
mean,
don't trust
come
them.
armed is always number one.
Do you have? What do you have? Do you have?
I'm
taser?
not going to disclose what I have
Taser,
necessarily for security
pepper
purposes.
spray,
I have more than that.
I got my mind on my nine. No.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Who knows?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, don't mess with her.
No,
all right?
Nope.
absolutely
Treat her
not.
right. That's what we're trying to say.
That and just having a very strong group of like support people. Like I would never do this if it was just me, and
Yeah.
I fear for women that do it when they're just like the only person that does that they
That
know.
makes sense.
Because if I was to like go out with somebody, chances are this person is somebody that my friend group already knows or knows of, and even if it's not, they have my location. I'm armed. I tell someone, hey, I'm going to be at this restaurant, and they're like, cool, I'm going to go get a drink next door.
Yeah.
Like
Wow. Okay.
they've
Well,
got
your
a
safety
lot of
should be
different,
first.
exactly.
Yeah,
and I have a
safety
lot of
first.
different security tactics, and, meeting with somebody several times in person after you've met with them several times on the phone.
Yeah.
There's a very extensive screening process.
Okay.
So my safety is always number one.
Well, that's
I don't
good. You-
care
you do
about
your
the
due
bag.
diligence,
I
so-
do, yeah. And there's a lot of people that don't, and I'm not shaming
Right.
them for doing that because
Yeah.
they're catching their bag,
Yeah.
and that's good for them. But for me personally, it's not that serious for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would rather always take my safety over the bag.
Are there other groups that you can mention that people can like try to contact if they needed like that type of support that you
Not-
can talk about?
Not really. I mean, I wish there was more of like a support group
Right.
like that. That would be really great. I know that my friend group is very supportive, and I have a lot of other friends in the same sort of vein of work.
Yeah.
And so I really would never go somewhere or do something with someone without like extensively discussing it with several other people
Yeah.
before.
So you
So-
give them like, what do you think about this and the
Exactly.
situation, and
Exactly.
kind of lay it down. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then if you can do that, well then I'm
Yeah. And you'd be
nearby.
very surprised
Yeah.
in your own circle how many people actually are very into stuff like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I ended up gaining most of my original attraction was from my very own core circle.
All right, one question.
One more?
This
One
is-
more? You got one
Well,
more?
this is just a random question.
Okay.
This is just not degrading, but would you consider yourself a sex worker?
I'm so sorry. Absolutely. I know that there's a lot of people that think if you're not physically having sex with somebody for money that you're not a sex worker. But that is entirely a lie.
Yeah, showing anything nude, you're just,
I mean,
dabbling
there's
in
even
something like that.
there's even people that are not even nude, like my GIMP guy that I was telling you about.
That's true.
And he paid me money to rub my feet, and I still personally would consider that under that same umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's
Well, the whole feet thing.
Well, I mean,
Because
listen, I've made more money off my feet than any part of my body.
I mean,
A lot of people, a lot of people have a feet fetish.
Speaking of feet, those shoes.
I know they're great. I wish this table was in here. so we
Where'd you
could see
get
them
Where'd you
more.
get these?
A very lovely follower of mine bought these for me from Amazon.
Oh wait, we got it.
There we go. Well,
like, I'm not
there you
sure.
go.
Yeah.
Very lovely follower of mine bought these for me,
Yeah.
and yeah, I told him that I was going to wear them today.
Yes.
So,
So if he watches this,
he's definitely going to watch.
Yeah, the one.
good job.
There is another thing that I learned on that
Yeah.
that documentary I worked on. Even though a lot of people do call escorts, and you talking about domination or dom, whatever. Certain CEOs call these people up just to kind of not put them in check, but make them feel lower than they're supposed to be. And they do that. I don't know if it's a kink or not, but it's more of like kind of dumb them down a little bit from their
it's
position.
a power. There's always a power aspect
It is
of a lot
a
of these
power aspect,
situations.
but
It's
with
a
that,
power dynamic
but
in
it
every
doesn't-
part of life.
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it goes to strictly to sex. So
Right.
sometimes there are people that just hire an escort and sit there and talk about their life and talk
Yeah.
about their families,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
all they do.
I did that for a very brief period in Hollywood. They were hiring people to do that at nightclubs before it got shut down for being a prostitution ring.
Oh, there's always that. There's always
Well, the
that.
thing is that not everybody was doing that.
Right.
Right.
But there were people doing that. I was not doing that. But they were, you know, men from other countries that just wanted companionship for the night. They went out to a club. They didn't want to be all the boys at the club. They want girls around them, but they don't speak the language and they're shy and they have money. So they're like little hermits in the corner. So the club would provide them something similar to a bottle girl, but the girl would hang out at the table with them. And I would sit there and just talk to them and they would be like, how's life? You know, like they just want to talk.
Yeah.
And they would give me money and they would be like, here's for rent. Here's so you can buy some shoes. And I'm like, thanks.
I mean, in Japan, they actually have a culture in Japan.
And some of my best clients from there were actually Japanese
Right.
businessmen.
Because no, there is an actual thing in Japan where
Yeah.
you could rent a girlfriend.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've heard
that's
about
literally 90% of them would be
Right.
Japanese businessmen. That's so
But
funny.
it has nothing to do.
this. So you were the girlfriend for the night,
Just at the club.
just the club. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yes, just for the night. Just for
Yeah.
Here's the scary part. AI is not coming, so
I know.
So you're gonna get
What?
replaced.
We replace.
You're gonna get
So-
replaced.
There's gonna be no
Hey,
humans.
people are gonna have their waifus.
Hey, well,
You know what a waifu is, right? Anybody?
we talked about waifu. But remember, way back, like a year ago, we were talking about the robots.
Oh yeah, the AI robots.
yeah,
are
yeah,
there, right?
robots.
Same
right?
thing. So they go.
A lot of people are gonna lose jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the real
forget
doll.
bartenders.
You got the
We
real
want
doll.
the real thing, though.
No, the real doll.
Oh, that's true.
Oh my
The-
God, right?
And if
yeah,
they put, if
the
they
lifelike
put,
dolls.
yeah, if they put any
There's
like,
a whole facet of like porn that like literally is just men having sex with those dolls.
With the
Really?
dolls. Yeah.
Yep. I've watched
That's
some
crazy.
of it.
imagine if they actually put a robot in it, and it
Yeah.
moved.
The future is now.
Actually, no. I think either Korea or Japan, but they do have like these.
Oh, yeah.
Standing androids.
Which I mean,
It's
I
not
told
sexual,
you,
but it's actually like
you're right.
They-
Right.
Oh,
they-
great.
they
We're gonna have to
move, they
fight them like
talk to you.
Dragon Ball Z and shit.
They're gonna become Super Saiyan on you
Yeah.
real quick.
insane.
But like I said, they're out there already.
the future is coming.
But people already want to fuck these dolls. These robots.
You're lying there.
Right? These robots. It's gonna happen.
I mean, people.
It's not a. If it's gonna happen, it's a
No,
win.
I mean,
I agree.
There's
When?
people that marry inanimate objects.
Yes.
What was that show
Yeah,
called?
dude.
Oh,
The one that had the guy that like was fucking all the plastic dolls and then his wife was like, he's having an affair.
Yeah.
And then the fucking
An
neighbor
emotional
was
affair,
like,
yeah.
no, the neighbor like spied on called the wife and was like,
Oh, that's
they're
so.
blow up dolls.
Yeah.
He's having an orgy with blow.
Listen, like I said,
It's-
not trying to yuck anyone's
No.
yum.
but
Good for you.
but it is
Hey,
there.
that would you consider that safe sex?
Absolutely.
So
100%.
right.
100%.
So
You
she
just
should be
put
so
famous
lucky.
famous people on the on the bodies on the blow up dolls.
Just print a picture
face?
on the printer
Yeah.
and just cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
a picture,
Cut the little mouth out.
a picture of Tony T's face on the doll. Picture of Charles the Future's face.
Oh my God,
this doll just cut out the mouth open.
Why are you laughing?
He's picturing
You
it.
didn't hear what he said.
I heard him.
I knew it.
Oh my God.
Okay, this just went off. This went off the rails for a second.
right.
there.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys. This
Yeah?
was a good conversation. Did you
Oh,
feel
that's
like you learned anything
Yeah,
today?
yeah,
A lot.
Absolutely.
A
I hope-
Really?
I hope people
Yeah, of
out there
course.
got something
I
from
hope
this
so
one.
too.
Yeah, that was a great conversation. Thank you, Jupiter, for being on
Anytime,
the
you
show.
guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Anytime. Anytime.
If y'all have any questions for Jupiter,
Leave it in the comments.
leave it in the comments.
Leave it in
Yep.
the comments and
Yeah.
I will respond to the
Yeah.
best of my ability. But don't be mean, please.
Don't be mean. We got her back. Okay, so we'll come after you.
All right, guys. Like, follow, subscribe.
There it is.
Let's get the claps on first.
It's actually
We
working.
can still hear you.
Like, follow, subscribe. You know the deal. Same as always. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
And we out.
Adios.
Peace.